Welcome to Customer Service for the Residential Service Technician, a video series designed to help you enhance your customer service skills in the field. As a residential service technician, you are exposed to all kinds of customers. By being proactive from the very start of the service call, you have the opportunity to not only provide exceptional customer service, but also ensure repeat business and a solid reputation for yourself and your company. As a residential service technician, you are often put in a position where you have to communicate a message to the customer that they may not want to hear. And, in most cases, the subject of the message is about a problem that either you had nothing to do with or had no control over. However, breaking the news to the customer can evoke an immediate and highly emotional response. This is why it is very important that when you find yourself in a situation of this kind, you communicate in a fashion that benefits both you and the customer.
Oh no, this doesn't look good.
This is definitely gonna make me late for this next call. Maybe if I give it a couple minutes, it won't be so bad. Well, there's no way I'm getting there by 10:30. I've got to make the call.
Hello?
Hi, is this Mr. Walters?
Yes, it is.
Hi, sir. This is Bill from Bishop Plumbing. I'm on my way to your location from another service call, and there is a traffic incident that is going to make me late.
Well, how late? I mean, I've got places to go. I mean, this is unacceptable and inconsiderate.
Yes, sir. I understand if you are upset. I take full responsibility for being late. I'm really sorry this happened, and I will make your job my only priority when I get there. Are you still okay with me coming today, or do you need to reschedule?
No, that's fine. Just come as soon as you can.
Sure, will do, sir. And thank you for your patience. Expect to be there in about an hour.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
If you haven't been caught in a traffic jam on your way to a customer's residence, don't worry, you will. Traffic is just one of the many obstacles that seem to be just waiting out there to make you late for a service call. And, as you just saw, the customer may not be as understanding as you would hope. But by using the STARS recovery process techniques, the technician was able to not only calm the customer, but he actually allowed the customer to be productive during the waiting period by providing him an arrival time. This is certainly not the ideal way to start a service call, but by using STARS to communicate effectively, the customer now understands that you have respect for his time. This enables the customer to now develop a respect for you. Having respect for one another is a key component to any successful service call. Remember that STARS stands for S, show empathy. T, take responsibility. A, apologize for the situation. R, resolve the situation. And S, seek the customer satisfaction.
are you today?
Oh, we're just fine, thank you.
Take care. Hi, Mr. Walters?
Yeah,
Bill, sir, from Bishop Plumbing.
all right. You know, I was able to do some chores while I was waiting for you, so it all worked out anyway.
That's great, sir. And again, I apologize for the inconvenience. Traffic was at a standstill.
You know, I drove to and from downtown for years. I know all about traffic.
Here's my card. Let's go and take a look at your basement and sump pump.
Sounds great. Come on in. Well, we've been getting a lot of rain this year, and I don't think my sub pump is big enough to handle it. Well, we've always got puddles and standing water everywhere. And I hate having water in my house. I want a bigger pump. All right, so here's the pump. You see how little that is? And with all the water in the basement, I can't wait till that thing is gone.
Well, it looks like a fairly common model, so if it's a problem with the check valve, we can probably repair it. However, there may be more to the problem, and a bigger pump may not be the best answer.
Well, I doubt that. Bigger pump will get the water out of the basement.
Well, I noticed outside that it looks like the pump just pushes the water directly outside of the house and isn't actually tied into your storm sewer. Now, it could be a problem with the check valve or the pump itself, but if that were the case, we would probably see water on the floor. It looks like your pump is working, pushing the water out. It just doesn't have anywhere to go and eventually seeps right back into the house. So it looks like your drainage system is the main problem.
Well, I don't know anything about that. I think the bigger pump would do the trick. It'll push the water out to the sewer by itself.
I can understand why you wouldn't want the added expense and hassle of tying into the sewer system if you didn't have to. My main concern is that the water is being pumped out and then directly back in. Installing a bigger pump could make that situation worse. Let me write up my recommendation and you can have a look, okay?
That's fine. I think a new pump is going to be great. No more water in the basement for this guy.
Sure, I will write that up on the estimate as well.
In our first scenario, the technician made a telephone call to the customer to deliver his message. This was a verbal communication, and the results benefited both the technician and the customer. However, in this instance, verbal communication isn't working. The customer is so caught up in what he envisions the result to be that he isn't receptive to hearing the potential downfalls that the technician is describing. This is a circumstance where written communication can be very effective. When a communication is in written form, it now becomes an article of reference. The message can be read as often as needed by the reader for further understanding, and also acts as a valid document of the situation.
Hi, sir. Well, here's my list of recommendations if you want to take a look. Can I go over it with you now?
Yeah, sure. That'd be great.
My professional recommendation is to install a new pump, which will not only have the manufacturer's warranty, but also our service warranty, since we would be installing it. The unit I've quoted you to replace the old pump is actually a more efficient unit, even though it may look the same size.
Well, where's the bigger pump? You know that that's what I wanted.
I understand your desire. With my experience, the design of the pump I recommend meets the demand of your home with the alterations of the exterior drain lines.
So you really don't think a bigger pump's necessary?
See, the pump itself isn't the primary problem we're facing. The more efficient pump, coupled with a new storm drain, which will remove the standing water from your property, will alleviate any future seepage problems. Your water problem should be solved permanently.
Well, if you think it's a good idea and stops the pump from running all the time, I just want to put my mind at ease, you know? I'm just tired of having water in my basement.
I don't think you'll regret it, sir. I would hate to just try to put in a bigger pump knowing that the water is just going to come right back in the house anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense now, does it?
So, if you can just sign here to authorize the work, I can start the repair process immediately.
Sounds like a plan.
Did you see how it took the actual reading of the technician's concerns for the customer to realize that what he wanted may potentially have been a disaster? In this instance, communication through writing was the best method to reach the customer. And by being prepared with options and alternatives, the technician has now been upgraded to the role of advisor in the eyes of the customer. By writing his message on the customer's work order, this technician has not only averted a troublesome situation, he has now guided this service call to a direction where there is far more potential for the customer to be happy beyond expectation. One thing you need to remember, Good writing is an extremely powerful part of good service. Inept writing undermines everything you've worked so hard to build. These are some tips on how to write effectively. Write in the first person. Use I instead of we. Write the way you would speak. Write properly. Spell words correctly, and be sure to use proper grammar. We've seen how verbal and written communication can be extremely effective when used during the proper circumstance. But there is another way of communicating that is very powerful. And today's technology has made this method easily accessible. Visual communication, such as pictures or snapshots, can be enormously helpful to a residential technician. Think about it. A picture captures the details of a situation that could possibly be left out of a conversation or a written report. And with a picture, there is far less room for misunderstanding or misinterpretation. Pictures also act like a document in that they can be reviewed as often as needed and are a substantial source of information that can be referenced at any time.
Well, Mr. Walters, your new pump is in, and we're going to go ahead and get started out here and tie the pump into the storm sewer, which is going to take the water away from the house.
Oh, that's great. Hey, listen, I'm in meetings all day today, so if you need me, I'll be back around 3 o'clock, okay?
Sure, sir. I should be all finished by then.
Great, thanks. Hey, how's it going?
Hi, Mr. Walters. I'm all wrapped up here. Your pump is tied into the storm drain, which will allow the water to flow freely away from the house.
Well, I guess it was all worth it. Yeah, what happened here?
Yes, I noticed that earlier. I wanted to mention something, but you'd already left, and I knew you were in meetings all day.
Well, how do you explain that? It wasn't like that before.
Actually, it's one of our policies to take photos before, during, and after our work. So I have a snapshot of the house before we started, if you want to take a look.
Yeah, sure.
You see, I noticed the damage before I started working, but after you'd already left.
Oh, you know, it must have been the gardeners that did that. You know, they're doing some work over here.
Well, the good news is that we're all through here, and your new pump and my service are warranted as listed here. Your balance is here, and I can accept a credit card or check for your final payment.
Okay, I got a credit card right here.
As the old saying goes, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And as we have just seen, that saying couldn't have been more right. By taking pictures that show beyond a doubt that the damage was done prior to the technician's arrival, the technician has diffused a potentially difficult circumstance. Without these photos, the customer may have decided that the technician caused the damage. And with the customer not being present at the job site, a verbal or written communication would have not been regarded as being a credible source of information. Using images as a means of communication has not only exonerated the technician of any wrongdoing, it also helped solidify his relationship with the customer. The customer now looks at the technician as a true professional and will look to use his services in the future. As you know, securing repeat business is the ultimate goal for all residential technicians. Making your cell phone or digital camera an integral part of your toolkit does more than just assist you when dealing with a customer. It also makes you a treasured asset in the eyes of your company. Providing evidence through documentation of a potentially compromising situation is invaluable to any business.
Well, Mr. Walters, I want to know, are you completely satisfied with my work today?
Well, I'll let you know when it rains out.
Well, I know I'm confident we've made the right choice here.
Yeah. Well, I feel better already. You know, I'm really happy with the work. You know, really efficient, really knowledgeable.
Yes, sir. By the way, something else to consider might be a battery backup or natural gas generator for your new sump pump. You know, the first thing that happens in a storm is usually a power outage, and obviously your pump isn't going to run without power. So the backup will automatically engage and run the pump off of battery or natural gas power, so it can keep running for a while during a storm and power outage.
You know, I think one of my neighbors has that too. Give me a quote on that as well, would you? And, you know, anything to keep my basement dry.
Right, great. Let me write that up for you. And just to let you know, I tagged all your valves in case you need to shut them off in an emergency. And I'd like to leave you with this. A parting gift. It's a coffee mug and a magnet with a notepad for your refrigerator.
Good customer service is a skill in itself, and as you've seen, creating effective communication is another way to establish a healthy relationship during the service call. Like any skill, it takes some work to hone, but eventually it should become second nature, an extension of yourself and your own personality.